such clear skies today. I don't think there's one cloud actually when I'm looking around. We'll see when I bring the drone up. And speaking of which, so much hardware related stuff I read today. I guess the first one's with Parrot apparently going to unveil a new drone. It says here, robotics take flight, June 30th. And it says Parrot reveals new drone for what really matters. New communication standards, open to developers, full open source app, autonomous photogrammetry, new cybersecurity, and with the hashtag, a drone you can trust. And they have this little teaser, I guess you could say, or half an image anyways, where you can see what the drone's like. It almost seems like, is that a battery sticking out at its back? Makes you wonder if this is more foldable and portable, kind of like a Mavic, or is this basically meant more to compete with stuff like, say, a Phantom? I would assume one of their biggest traits will be the fact that they say they are more secure than, say, like a DJI drone and stuff like that. I guess we'll see if that'll basically get more people to buy their products instead. Especially with them winning things like those military contracts, they must have done very well in that sense. And I was catching up with all the Computex related news. I guess the first one was NVIDIA released a new graphics card as expected. Basically, it's kind of an upgraded version, I guess you could say, of the RTX 3000 series. And the funny thing is, this is the Ti version, and the presenter kept calling it the Ti. And it apparently drove people nuts. You can see in the chat all the time, like, stop calling it the Ti. They are expensive too. Essentially, they're offering two versions. The GeForce RTX 3080 Ti, which it says here will be available on June 3rd for $1,199 US. And the RTX 3070 Ti will be available June 10th at $599. So not cheap, and I'll be surprised if people can get their hands on them. Because again, this stuff has been selling out like crazy, and people have just been reselling them for crazy, ridiculous prices. That's kind of what made AMD's announcements kind of interesting, because one of their focuses actually was the APU processor they're releasing, which is essentially a processor, like a CPU, with built-in graphics capability. And that's actually coming out at a pretty decent price. For example, they have the Ryzen 7 5700G and the Ryzen 5 5600G, which will be for $259 and $359. That's actually a really good value proposition if you're looking to actually build a PC, let's just say for home use or something like that, and you don't want to pay the crazy scalper prices for a graphics card. You could buy this, and from what they say, the performance actually seems pretty good. Use this, I guess, temporarily, and then buy the graphics card when it's affordable. So that's actually a pretty good choice. Or just in general, if you just want to build something simple. I know there were some people commenting saying, oh, there's too much for them, like all these high-end stuff. They just want something to run this and that. I guess this would actually be a pretty decent choice for the money. They claim too, for things like productivity, they said it's comparable to something like the Intel Core i7-11700 when it comes to editing in DaVinci Resolve 4K. That's what they say anyways. It's a good value, I guess, in terms of an option too for people who just want to build something straightforward. And I can imagine with stuff like this getting better and better, it will be expected too. I know Samsung's apparently partnering with AMD. You can pretty much expect some of the next phones or something like that to have a really powerful, I guess you could say, graphic processor and the processor itself. So it's kind of interesting to see how this will turn out overall with all these innovations. And AMD kept going with the innovations. They even announced things like their 3D stacked chipset based on their Zen 3. So in a nutshell, this will basically give better performance for everyone who doesn't want all the technical stuff and all that. And this makes you think how far they've come. They've been like, what, almost on the way out? Everyone says, oh, impossible, Intel can't be beat. And just like this, after innovation, they've pretty much become like a juggernaut. And from what I read too, from these announcements, apparently some of the new Teslas will use their processors and their graphics cards as well. Are people going to actually play video games and stuff during their Tesla drives? I don't think it's legal to drive autonomously yet, is it? It makes you think for even things like the drone industry, everyone says, oh, impossible, one company, whatever, they rule them all. But like this, all it takes is basically one great product and continually to innovate, and that's it. You can pretty much take a huge share of the market. I guess one of our geese buddies had babies. I only recognize that one because it has that little white patch on his head. That's kind of cool. I think when it jumped out of the water and then went back in a mini circle was trying to tell me, hey, come in, follow me. Alright, see you guys later.